Okay, it's August 29th, 2016, and we're here with Frank Fannin, who was a veteran of World War II and served on the USS Iowa. And we had a previous interview where we talked about ships, and then another one we talked about airplanes, and today we're going to talk about life on board the ship. So our first question, Frank, is how much did you get paid when you were in the Navy?
We got $1 a day.
And how often did you get
We
paid?
got paid once a month.
So was that, but that was based on what rank you were?
Well, yes, that was based on that. That was the lowest rate as a seaman, and that's just coming out of boot camp was $1 a day. And,
So-
and of course, as you increased your rank, you got a little more money, but that tells you how low it was. You had to go quite a ways to get $5. Let me tell you.
Was there anything to buy on board? So they gave you
Yes,
cash?
there was. You could buy cigarettes. The ship, the Iowa happened to have a ship store that you could buy it at certain days and certain times. You could buy ice cream, extra ice cream on board, and had like a soda fountain type service. It wasn't a sit down soda service, but you could buy ice cream and different items on board.
Was there gambling on board?
Yes, sir, it was. On payday, especially on payday, the guys gambled back on 2 or 3 on the fantail. They had I think some of them were professional gamblers.
Did you ever play?
No, I knew better because I wasn't a gambler. I didn't know what I was doing. And I just rolled a hand of my money. Those guys were, some of those guys that was in there, the service was good at gambling.
Did you ever visit Pearl Harbor?
I visited Pearl Harbor twice, and it was both times at night. We pulled in the evening, and we loaded supplies all night on the Iowa one night, and we left the next day.
So you never.
And then the next time I was in Hawaii, is after the war in '46. I loaded troops all night, bring them home for discharge.
So you had liberty in other places then, other than Pearl Harbor.
The most liberty I had was in Tokyo. Once in a while, the ship would pull up to an island somewhere, and we'd get a break, and they'd take us over and give us 2 or 3 warm beers, and that's what and that's where I got on one of those. I got the worst sunburn of my life. You know, not knowing better. The salt water was, and I burned, but it was really horrible.
Did you ever get into trouble while you were on liberty?
Well, I did in L.A. for not saluting an officer. They put me in jail for it. And I had to do 10 hours extra duty on the ship out of my liberty time.
Did you know that you didn't salute him?
I don't think I ever seen that guy. He was just rounding up people. He was probably a guy. He had a bunch of shore patrol with him, and he was probably might have been his first time ever out on duty. You know, and he wanted to show what a job he could do. I guess he picked up 20 men off of my ship. Now, that's a lot of people off of one ship, you know. So there was 20 of us got picked that day for not saluting him in downtown L.A., and that was in '46. At that time, you saluted every officer.
No
When
matter
they tell
where.
you don't salute the officer, you're saluting the uniform.
Could you smoke while on the ship?
Yes, so you could buy cigarettes, and that's one of the things that was your entertainment. You could buy, out of the 3-mile limit, I think it was 55 cents you could buy a carton of cigarettes. And as long as you're out of the 3-mile limit of the continental United States.
Could you go out on the deck and smoke at night or anything?
No,
or-
no. At night, there were no lights on deck. And all those hatches you seen that was open, all had curtains and stuff on them. There was no lights. There was no lights to be seen on that ship at night, from the sky or anywhere, you know, because of secrecy. They could spot a light. Now, aircraft carriers, we'd have aircraft up patrolling at night, and an aircraft carrier, if I remember correctly, when the plane got to a certain point, they would flash on 4 corner lights on the aircraft, and he had to hit that craft and land at night, dark. Of course, he could probably see the image from up there. I don't know. I never did it myself. I always felt sorry for those guys trying to hit that aircraft and come in and dip the tail down and catch it and hook it. You know, you know that's the way they landed at night on the aircraft carrier. They only left them on just a Oh, just a short time, you know. Flash 4 red lights on, and now you got to hit that spot.
Did you ever get bored while you're on
Pardon?
ship? Did you ever get bored while you're on the ship?
They kept us too doggone busy, I think. You know, I kind of hated that being busy so much, but I guess it was good to keep us out of trouble.
Well, how long was your shift? Or,
The ship, how long was the ship?
no, how long was your working shifts?
Well, it all depended on what you were doing. Like fueling destroyers, I think it took about 2 hours to fuel those destroyers. There'd be 2 on each side of the ship. We'd fuel them, and then we'd fuel them before breakfast, right after general quarters of the morning, and then you would go have breakfast. And so there you've already spent, you know, a time. And
Did you ever get sleepy and fall asleep while you're on watch?
No, never, because I was with a group of guys standing in observation up my battle station, and on watch all the time was your battle stations. You went and manned your battle stations, and some of them were partly manned, and part of them wasn't enough to, you know, and the other guys were resting. So you really, they really kept you busy, and but now.
How about your brothers that were in the Navy?
Well, I had 2 brothers in the Navy. One of them got caught asleep up in the Aleutian Island, Gerald. He was standing watching. Then he was standing watch outside on the deck of the ship, and he said he froze stiff, you know. And they caught him and court-martialed him.
And so what happened to him? What they do?
They sent him down to the laundry for a penalty. He said it's the best thing they ever did for him. He said I stayed warm the rest of the time I was in the Aleutian Islands. plus everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people would leave money in their clothes and it would wash. He said he made quite a bit of money down there, where these guys leave a dollar bill or 50 cents or something, and you know, a dollar then was a lot of money to us. And
Did you ever, while you were in the Navy, did you ever run into your brothers in a port? Or
Gerald and I, my brother just older than I, run into each other in San Francisco. I was at Hunters Point getting ready to go out on the Iowa and taking out a dry dock, and he came into TI to redo the ship, you know, and maintenance on it. And I found out his ship was in TI and Treasure Island. At that time, they had a naval base on Treasure Island. I understand now it's a shopping area.
Right.
And he's to be on the West Coast and meet one guy, you know, it's your brother.
Did you ever get seasick when you're in the Navy?
The only seasickness I ever got is when we went by Alcatraz. For some reason, the water down through there, even on that big old ship I was on, I would get seasick on there as we went by Alcatraz. I was by it 3 times and I got sick 3 times. But I rode out the storms in the Pacific and they didn't bother me.
So when you're out in the open ocean, you get into any
No,
typhoon?
it didn't bother me.
But you went through a typhoon?
There was, for some reason, along in that strip of the bay going up into San Francisco, that would make me sick every time I went by there.
When you were on the ship, what did you wear, like day to day when you're working?
Well, day to day, they had dressed uniform of the day on that ship in particular. Some of the ships wasn't that strict, but that ship was strict. And if the order of the day was for you to wear dungarees or jeans, they were jeans, dungarees or jeans, and a sleeve shirt, you always wore this roll down and button. Always wore your cap square. That ship was just like a boot camp. I'm telling you, it was strict as could be. And but I guess it was good for us.
Right.
It wasn't at the time. We thought we'd been mistreated, you know. But I guess it was good for us. Kept us out of trouble.
Did you know how to swim when you joined the Navy?
I finally you had to learn how to swim to get out of boot camp. And I finally made it down one side of the pool and the end. And that's the last time I ever swam any distance in my life. And the first time.
The first and last, it was in boot camp?
In boot camp.
So when you were in the Navy or in boot camp, did they issue like a pistol or a rifle or?
They didn't issue us pistols or rifles, either one. I never fired a gun while I was in the Navy. I carried a lot of dummy guns, I mean, for practice, you know,
For like
marching and so
marching.
forth, and for calisthenics and so forth, they had dummy rifles, and they didn't issue guns to sailors. I don't know about the soldiers. I imagine they got issued rifles in certain areas and sidearms, but on the Navy, no. The only people that had them was shore patrol. You never seen a gun on board ship. Never seen any guns on board ship.
So you went through World War II, and you personally never fired a shot.
I never fired a shot.
Well, it's we won the war. We won the war anyway.
We won the war without firing a shot, as far as I'm concerned. So I never fired a shot.
All right. Very good. Well, that wraps up all the questions I have for this segment.
Okay.
And this was an interview with Frank Fannin, who served on the USS Iowa and later on the Hornet and on the Cumberland Sound
It
ships.
was on the Yorktown.
Oh, I'm sorry, on the Yorktown. That's right,
Yorktown and the Cumberland Sound.
the Cumberland Sound.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yorktown's an aircraft carrier.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.